Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your
Hello.
patience. Technical difficulties. Hey, Ron.
Hello, Miss Angelena. Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can't believe we finally were able to get this done.
Yes, yes. We've been planning for a minute, and these busy schedules of ours have finally permitted us the opportunity to come together and go live. And I got to tell you, I'm extremely excited about it. I'm
Yeah,
glad to be here with you tonight.
same here. Same here. And I just thank you so much because it's very, I know how hectic it is for you lenders around this time with everything going on. But like you stated, it was imperative that we get on and kind of um, give this. And so I thank you so
Absolutely.
much. All right. And so for those who are joining us today, we're talking about how to purchase in this pandemic market. Yes, it is a pandemic market. For those who all who think that what's going on the outskirts with everything in the world hasn't affected, it has. And we're seeing it front face forward of how it's affecting the market. Not only that, the inventory, not only that, interest rates,
Yes,
not only that,
yes.
value
All
and
of the
timeline.
above.
That's what we're kind of talking about today and how we're going to maneuver through this. So, Ron, I just want to kind of go ahead and just kind of let you kind of come on through and tell us what you know, sir.
Well, Angelina, first again, I'm excited to be here with you because you are by far one of the greatest professionals I've ever worked with.
Thank you.
I know your passion for your clients and your customers, and you exemplify it every time we are working together and trying to either take a homeowner from one situation to a better situation, or either taking a person that perhaps have never owned a home before, coming out of apartment or coming from their mom's house, going into their very first home, and it's always an exciting adventure working with you in this particular market. uh, I'm so excited about it for many reasons. Number one, our team have been able to help a multitude of people this year, 2021, that even in spite of the difficult terrain that we've had to navigate through, we've been able to help an incredible number. It's probably been one of our busiest years ever, in fact. The downside to it is that you and I both have such a passion to help everybody that
Mhm.
many of people have not been able to find their way into the seam of home ownership by virtue of the fact that it's been such a low inventory market. And
Exactly.
the inventory low, which means it creates multiple offers on everything. And so we have a incredible number of people that just frustrated themselves out of the market. And we want to try and tell them that opportunity exists, even though the inventory has been tight. We've been able to help an incredible number of people become homeowners, and we want to bring some hope to them and let them know that there's opportunity that exists. And now it's beginning to be an incredible time, and there's some urgency about this moment because a lot is beginning to change economically as well.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we're doing this because it's my prayer, my hope that we can stimulate people that have been perhaps sitting on the fence a little bit, pondering, should I wait or should I uh, look to 2022, or what should I do? Or maybe before Christmas I can be in my new home. All of those opportunities exist. And I hope that through what we're doing tonight, we can help encourage some people that you can get back in this market. And sometime the worst of time can be the best of time,
Yeah.
and it's a matter of perspective, how you look at it. I worked in this market, as you very well know, back in 2008 when the market crashed back then through subprime lending. And many of my colleagues thought that, well, it's over. But I discovered that it became one of my best seasons. Even in that difficult terrain, we were closing loans like crazy. We were helping people at a whole nother dimension. And much like what you and I have done in 2021, we've been able to help an incredible number of people because opportunity exists. And it's in through what you do on the real estate side, showing houses, and you do an incredible job of um, working with agents and listing agents and breaking through some of the barriers that many agents struggle with, perhaps. I've seen you come back with contracts, and I'm like, Angelena, how did you do it? You know, really, how did you pull this off? Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a big part of what we do. We we
Yeah, you
we are
guys
believers, you know. But I'm telling you, so I want our audience to know, those that are live, those that will see this in replay. I want them to know that the right team matters in this market, and there is incredible opportunity that's available for anyone.
and you're so right because I don't even think people sometimes unless when we talk to them grasp the opportunities that are available. Sometimes the
Yeah,
setback is the step up to get you to where it is you need to be. Yes, things have kind of gotten tighter as far as with restrictions of lending, but the thing is, I don't think people realize is that the money that some of these families have been receiving, they don't realize that they can use that towards their down payment. And it's
right.
helping people allow them to be able to have money in savings when I'm speaking to clients. So it's always good to look. You can kind of focus on the bad of things, but what you can do is okay, let me see what I could do to be able to shift. And I think that's what this industry is all about. Is just like in 2008, you had to make the shift. It's the
Yeah,
same thing that we're having to do is make the shift. And okay, it used to be you want a house, here's a house. There you go. Put an offer
yeah,
in,
yeah,
get closing
yeah,
costs, get
yeah.
home warranty, get new refrigerator,
Absolutely. All,
carpet
all,
allowed.
all we all we needed was a social security number, a live person, and
Uh,
you own the home. Yeah, and back,
that's
back
all we
then.
needed. And you was able to get in there. You like
Yeah,
this house? Okay,
absolutely.
we're gonna get
Yeah,
this house. Now
absolutely.
you like this house, and it's like 30 other people that like the same house, and all of them have
Right,
great credit and great contracts and everything else. And so, yes,
right.
this is definitely imperative. And you know what we didn't do? We didn't start off by introducing ourselves. So I'm
Okay.
gonna do that now. For those of you all, if it's your first time joining on my Facebook, I am Angelina McFadden with the Deals with Angie team, and we are with Caldwell Banker. We are
Mhm.
your local agent throughout the Columbia area, Greenwood, Sumter, as well as the Florence area. Been in it now for about, oh goodness, almost 8 years, and
Yeah,
um, have been able to assist families throughout. We work with sellers, buyers, foreclosures, investors. If it's dealing with the home, we deal with it. And then I have the pleasure of knowing this gentleman right here, Mr. Ron Williams, and I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself again. You've already kind of given us your background a little bit, but also just
right.
kind of the company that you're with, if you don't mind.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, Angelina, my experience level dates back. I'm getting ready to tell my age. I'm actually,
Don't worry
um, yeah, yeah. I just started early. I'm not as old as I'm getting ready to sound. I started early, but my experience level dates back 26 years now. In the mortgage industry, I have a great passion for what I do with it. I've been helping homeowners since 1996 or so. So when I first started and got introduced into this industry, and it has been a great passion of mine ever since. I've not only do I help in terms of working loans myself, but I also have a great team along with me. One of my partners, Sheila Harris, has been with me for about 24 of those 26 years, maybe a little bit longer. And we are here now with Silverton Mortgage, one of the best mortgage companies I've ever worked for. I haven't been one of the persons that have floated around our industry. You know, in our industry, we're all our own brand. And
Yes.
many times we'll be with one company one minute and another company the next minute. I haven't been much of a floater. I spent most of my time when I started in the industry with Chase Mortgage. Then I had my own company for a number of years. And when the market was redefined, we became intrapreneurs where we started working within other companies to build our brand and build our base and to help homeowners. I feel like this for me is a calling. I believe I have an assignment to help people, and no matter what level they're on. I talk to people that can only afford $50,000 houses, as well as I close people that make six-figure, seven-figure incomes. So I'm all between all areas because for me, this is an assignment and I love what I do. So I'm with Silverton Mortgage. We're a national brand. Silverton actually is a Berkshire Hathaway company. Same company owns Mongo Homes and many of the big builders throughout our market here. I am the Columbia and Charlotte, North Carolina branch manager. So I live in Columbia, but I work both markets and everything in between, all of South and North Carolina.
And that's one of the things just to chime in, that's one of the things that I really admire about you when you say you help all, because that's what
Yeah.
drew me more to do more business with you, because I see
Right,
how you actually do care. Because
right,
that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And that's what this market is really testing. You really truly have to have a passion in this market to want to help people, because you may have a client where you might have gone from writing probably one to two offers to now you're
right.
maybe writing 10 to 15,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and you're just doing multiple ones at the same time, trying to get it
Right.
landed. So you really
Absolutely.
have that, and it's kind of weeding through, the ones that were either only in it just, oh, I'll do it on the side to make some extra income, or I'll do it to do X, Y, and Z because my friend is doing it and they're making money, versus you really have to truly like and love and breathe
Yes.
what you do in order to put the client first in this market.
Absolutely. This is not a part-time lover, not by any regard.
No,
This
a
is
married with three kids lover in the
yes. I literally was sleeping last night, and one of our clients was on my mind. I mean, how did he pop up in my dream? I don't know, but it's just that real to us because uh in order to really understand, I believe the passion is that we have to know what the end result of what we're doing is going to provide. Home ownership is more than just a place to live. It's where we raise our children. It's where we create memories. It's everything. Every house I've ever lived in, I've got pictures from my children being babies, and throughout the years their growth, and we remember this about that house, and oh, remember when we used to live there. It's more than just we want to close along. We want to help them experience life at another dimension. And that's what's at the heart of what we're doing. And when these deals get tough, by the way, all of them get difficult. There's no such thing as, Angelina, as an easy deal. Every one of them are unique. Every one of them has its own personality.
Yes.
And it's easy to say, you know what, man, I've tried to do everything I can to help this person, but I can't do it. And sometimes we can't. But when we know our passion allows us to work it to every means possible, have been exhausted because we understand what the end result is, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything possible to make people's dream a reality.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that we want to discuss was how to
Yeah.
get the offer accepted in this current market. Because matter of fact, we just had somebody actually just send a message. How do you compete? When your dream home has multiple offers,
Oh,
and the thing that I'm just really just already preparing my clients is when you see that list price of that home, be prepared that you need to offer above that. And
yes.
where it used to be that you could be able to negotiate or go, "Oh, I'll go 10,000 below. Let's fill them out and let's go 5,000 below and ask for things." Unfortunately, those times have have are gone at this moment.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that it's this is a bad market, because it's kind of one of these, we say it's strange because it's great for the sellers because they don't have to give as much as they used to before.
Hmm.
But it's also still great for buyers because they're able to qualify for these high amounts. They have still great interest rates, and it allows for them to get more home than they anticipated. But the
Right.
main thing that I'm telling is like, hey, you have to make sure that, for one, whatever you see as far as that number, if that's 200,000, we may have to go over. And I know a lot of times the fear in everybody's minds, well, I don't want to overpay for a house. I don't want to over.
Right.
And so when you're talking about going $10,000 over, it's like, oh my gosh, it's 10,000. But what I tell clients is, hey, don't look at it just that it's just 10,000. Look at the fact that, hey, for every $1,000, that's what, an extra $4 a month for you, $4 in your payment. So
Right.
you got to ask yourself, is it worth paying $40 extra a month for this house? Because
Right.
that $10,000 equates out to you is just, hey, it's an extra $40 worth getting that dream home. And then
Right.
it allows you to then put things in perspective. Like, you know what? This is kind of what I want. Okay, it's worth going ahead and paying this. Let's offer this. And the offer still contingent upon an appraisal. So if it's not,
Right.
whereas it appraises properly, then we're able to go back and maneuver and do else things, other things to kind of,
Right.
satisfy the contract. Um, Another thing that we've been doing as far as with these offers, especially if you see something, is don't scare the seller away with asking for repairs. Be
Mm.
willing, when you're going through a home, no home is perfect by all means, not even if you get new construction. There is always going to be something wrong with the house. But
Right.
if you're seeing a home and it seems to be in good condition from where you're looking for, and maybe some cosmetic things, be willing to say, "Hey, I'll take this as is," and you can still do an inspection period. There's nothing wrong
Right.
with that. You can still do that, and if you see something that's uncovered with that inspection, then you could be able to, at that point, okay, I need to go somewhere else. But one of
Mm.
the main things I've seen that's really helped me with getting these offers, and one thing I like that you guys do, Ron, is having that actual true pre-approval, meaning that, hey, income's been checked, credit's
Yeah.
been checked, employment's been verified. All those things have been done to whereas it makes also that listing agent comfortable with your offer. And so therefore that listing agent, once they're comfortable, then they can make their seller comfortable. And so, I mean, we matter of fact, we just got one because of that. For one, because of your history, your reputation, also my reputation with the agents and the history, and them seeing that, okay, this is a bona fide offer that's been looked at, the lender's done what they need to do. Okay, this is one we feel comfortable with.
And Angelina, I think that's where um who works on your behalf really matters, because this business is a relationship business, whether we look at it from that standpoint or not. It really is. A lot of it hinges on it because, number one, all of us know that loans or situations with homes can go awry. And
Man,
because of that, if I'm listing a house and I know that if Angelina is reaching out to me or if Ron is reaching out to me, if they're telling me something, it's probably bona fide information. They're not going to mislead. They're going to do it within the best of their ability because they're professionals at what they do. That's one angle on how we address this market. Another very important angle is understanding that patience has to be a major part of what it's
Yes.
going to take in this market. When I talk to clients and of course, as you very well know, you and I would have conversation about the Charlotte market all the time, and what we're experiencing here in Columbia now, we were experiencing several years ago in the Charlotte market because it is such a hot market. Literally, I would have clients tell me, said, "Look, Ron, I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I want to go through with it." And I said, "Well, why not?" He says, one guy told me, said, "I literally have written through an entire book of checks on different earnest money for every contract that my agent wrote for me." And he says, I'm just fearful of getting another rejection. And so the first thing that I wanted him to understand is, number one, you got to have patience. That's the start with. But then secondly, I think that's most important is that you've got to embrace an understanding that you have to be ready and not I'm getting ready. That is one of the biggest things we need buyers or persons that are anticipating buying a house. We need you to be ready now. And part of what we do is we help facilitate that, just as you aforementioned, that when we come back to you and we say, Angelina, listen, we have not just a pre qualification, because there's a distinctive difference between what, excuse me, what is a pre-qualification and what is a pre-approval. Let's look at the two real quickly. A pre-qualification is somebody has just pulled your credit and said, "Hey, I think this person would qualify for a loan." Many of our big banks, I won't call their names, but because of the vast number of customers they have, that's all they have time to do
Mm.
is a quick pre-qualification, look at your credit score and say, "Hey, based on, what you're telling me, you can get a loan." And that's all they do. So when I'm a listing agent and I see a pre-qualification, then that makes me a little bit more suspect, because that means this buyer has not perhaps gone through underwriting. This person has not been looked at in depth. Their income and other things may not have been examined. But what we attempt to do is we look at the three components of what it takes to get a person approved. And that's three things. I call it the CIA of mortgage lending. It's almost like it's almost like, Angelina, it's, when you think about the CIA, you think about the Central Intelligence
Exactly.
Association or organization or whatever,
But
and,
all
and,
in your
and
business.
everything is secrecy. It's all this secrecy, but really it's not that much secrecy behind getting approved for a loan. It boils down to three central things: credit, income, and assets. And you need a little bit of all three to work together. One may be better than the other, but we want to look at those three things and evaluate it not just by virtue of application, but by virtue of verification. We want to not only looking at your application is pre-qualification, but in order to get the pre-approval, we need to look at also your verification. So when we're able to verify those things, then we can come back to you and say, Angelina, find them a house, because you can tell your listing agent this person has been verified.
And,
That
and on the flip side, for where that helps out on our end, and just
Yeah,
buyers know, because I know a lot of times buyers like, Angela, I need this quickly, and I
yeah,
let them know, like, hey, give him time to do this, because it's going to end
right,
up saving you money in the long run. Because what you don't want, and I have had this on numerous occasions, where
yeah,
you had that pre-qualification, that person has gone and put earnest money up, they have gone and done inspections, and then all of a sudden they get appraisal. Next thing you know, oh, well, we didn't factor in this into that debt
because of your
recommendation. Well,
history, your reputation.
or we
Right,
didn't factor into this or factor into that. And next thing you know, we're having to
reputation.
pull the
Also,
offer
going
back
to put earnest money up. They have gone and done
and
inspections.
be able and say, okay, well, now all of a sudden they don't qualify. And we
Right.
have to go back and tell them that. So it's very important to us that you do that because I know that, okay, income's been checked, this has been
Right,
checked, that has been checked, and we're good to go. Now I
right.
know that we don't know till we get to the end, but at least the bare bones of things, we've done our due diligence at the front end of things. Um,
Absolutely. Can I add one thing to that, Angelina, if you don't mind? Um, our branch has a 97% close ratio. Literally a 90, and we have maintained a
that's
95
awesome.
plus percent close ratio over a distance of time, several years. We're not just talking about for the last quarter. We're not just talking about for the last 6 months. We're not just talking about for the last year. This has been consistently our close ratio. But let me tell you the reason why it's been that way, not because we're all that great. It's because we try to do our due diligence. Sometimes um, potential buyers get frustrated when we ask for so much information, and we, sometimes ask them multiple times, maybe for the same thing. But the reason behind it is because we're trying to make sure, or as much as live within us, that we have evaluated their loan from all angles. Because the last thing we want to do is get at a certain distance and then we discover that there are things in here that we could have resolved up front that we did not look at or didn't examine, or we get to a certain point and we notice you don't have no money. Well, I should have known that up front. Or we noticed that what you said you make, you don't make. We should have known that up front. So we want to do our due diligence and get a good application, make sure we get the information, but also the verification. And
Everything.
that way we can stand behind what we give to you. And the only way that 3% factor comes into play is if that something happens that, God forbid, we can't control. We had one, you and I did, I think a month ago, that fell into that 3% category, but it was solely based upon a circumstance that was beyond your control, my control, our buyer's control. And it fell into that 3% range. But thank goodness we're able now. We're just a days away from closing that barrier on
Exactly.
another home.
Another
Yeah.
home.
So we didn't leave them hanging. We repositioned them, and we're back at it with what we can control, and we'll close that loan.
And that's one of my favorite sayings that I always say is, decline but not denied. Mean,
Yeah,
okay, you may have been declined at this point of time. Let's find out what it is, and then let's go back to the drawing board and getting it done. Because it's not to
absolutely.
say that you can't ever get a home. It just means that certain things may have to be restructured. And like you said, and we're able to do that, and we're now able to get that same person closing on another home, and they're appreciative because they're not
Absolutely.
only that, they got a better home than they were going to get the last time. So it just
Yeah,
always works
yeah,
out at the end. That's the thing.
yeah.
It's all
And
about.
and 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 ironically, can I add this to it? Is that she's one of our seniors. And that makes me even really excited because she's a person that's in retirement or just about in retirement, and she's going to retire with a beautiful new home and a just it's awesome because this is what we're talking about. This is more than just that it's another closed loan for us, but it's about, a way of life. Absolutely.
And this is when you're talking about being, because that was kind of one of our topics too, how to be prepared financially and be mortgage ready. That is very
Yeah.
important, especially now because our next topic is
Okay.
how to obtain closing costs in the seller's market.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Somehow you do it. I don't know how you do it.
well, I'm gonna be,
You
I'm gonna
you
be
you come up with it. It's amazing to me, but you have the touch.
we have from certain time to time, but I'm being honest with clients, and I'm going to be honest with Facebook world.
Right.
You really, when he talks about being financially prepared, you need to be prepared with those closing costs because
Right.
the standard contract when I first started in real estate was listing price. You would ask, you know, 3 to 5 thousand in closing costs. You would ask for home warranty, and you was going to do your repairs and everything else. And if you liked that beautiful chandelier, you could get that.
You
If you
get
like
that
that
too.
couch, you might have could have been able to
Yeah.
get that new couch and
Yeah.
everything.
I want your bed. Can you
Yeah,
leave your
I love your bed.
bed?
I get your bed. By the way, can I get the dog too? The dog, they wouldn't let you
Yeah.
dog too to sell the house.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
now it's, oh, it's like this blank sheet of
Yeah.
paper, meaning we're
Yeah.
not asking for anything because you have
Right.
to, like with the person that asked before, when you there's multiple offers, that same house, you have 2 to 3, 4, 5 people that are going out there, and you see them
Right.
out there, and they're
Right.
discussing in front of you. We're gonna put an offering on this house.
Yeah. They're telling you.
And they're telling you up in front, you're talking to the agents, and by the time you get the key in the door, hey, just want to let you know we've already received another offer. You closing costs to ask, that's just not something that we're able to ask for. And so
Right.
it's not something that one brokerage firm is not doing. If you're in this, our goal is to do our best. And if I'm advising you to the best of my due diligence to you, I'm going to tell you, hey, we don't need to ask for this. Now,
Right.
the good thing that I like in regards to with Silverton and with Ron is the things that, and that's what the things that I highly respect about you is that I brought this to you and we came up with a scenario what we're able to do for our clients in
Right.
regards to closing costs.
Right. Well, again, understanding this, what has occurred in this pandemic market, by the time it reached Columbia again, because as I aforementioned, we were already seeing this in the Charlotte market for quite some time. And one of the things that we did in order to help our buyers is we created internally ways that we could help empower our buyer's position when it came to closing costs. We were able to look at each scenario, and we vetted ways, starting with, initially it started with VA lending. We eliminated fees for VA lending,
That's right.
and took away origination costs for VA lending, and we reduced that down to zero. And what that permitted was, it allowed us to only have to deal with our third party fees, attorney fees, appraisal fees, and some of those costs. We only, that helped us tremendously. Then we were able to add some additional layers to that that would enable us to be able to help uh, apply for our buyers closing costs without escalation to interest rate. Oftentimes, you would have to escalate rate in order to provide
Yeah.
closing costs. And these are some of the market secrets that I'm talking about now. But we found ways to not have to do such, where we had to price ourselves out of the market where we couldn't be competitive, but we were able to actually, in many instances, as you very well know, offer rates that were below what they perhaps were quoted by someone else, and be able to empower them with closing costs as well. Now, that's one of the great unique things that my experience have allowed me to be able to do, and to be able to win the confidence of our company to support us in ways that we can do this, so that you as an agent, I'm able to enhance our partnership by helping you with your buyers in this pandemic market. Say, because we know you're not able to ask for closing costs. You're not able to ask for closing costs if you're going to get that offer accepted. But by virtue of what we're able to do in many instances, we help offset that cost, and we help reduce that cost. And many of times, as you very well know, we've been able to totally eliminate the closing costs, because we were able to provide enough from our angle,
To be able to,
and to be able to cover all of the closing costs in many instances. So that's one of the great tools that we have in our arsenal to be able to help. And this is very important because part of being ready in this market is that this is an expensive market, so it requires money. I was on the phone prior to our conference tonight, our call here tonight, with a buyer that uh, their down payment plus closing costs was about $19,000. But by the time we got finished with all of what we were doing to help them in their situation, they're now bringing about 13,000 to the table. So we were able to put them in a much better position and to help them financially by helping offset that cost. Now, this is something that builders customarily have done. And I come out of a builder market. I used to manage DR Horton, the largest builder in the country, their financial services for a number of years. And we were able to compete in new construction by offering closing costs. And so I brought that same concept out of the builder market into the resale market, and be able to do the very same thing. So that's what I'm really excited about that we're able to do here for you guys.
And it helps out a lot because, like you said, like with that one scenario that you gave, you saved that person $6,000.
Right,
That's $6,000. You could take that to put furniture in your home, moving expenses, and everything else, versus having to bring that all to the table in order to close
right.
your home. And I really do. And on my side of how you were stating that you're able to do that without having to drag that interest rate super high, what people don't realize is that sometimes with getting those lender credits, it could take you out of the running for the home altogether. And so
Absolutely.
to be able to still have, okay, you can still have a good interest rate and also be able to kind of eliminate some of the out of pocket expenses that you have to bring when it comes to purchasing, it just does wonders with helping. And that's one of the things I know that I appreciate as our partnership together. But not only that, our clients do too as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's one of the tools that we have here within our branch and within what we do here at Silverton that puts us ahead of our competition a little bit. Many instances, I've had buyers that have gone other places, and when they come to us, they're just, I mean, it was the difference between them buying the house and not buying a house at all.
Yep.
Because in some instances, as you mentioned, that those funds could be used toward purchasing furniture. But for many people, the down payment is about as much as they can bring.
Bring to
That's that's all they can do. Yeah,
Yeah, and another, another thing is that what people don't realize too, and see, this also goes back to how we're able to get those offers because of the fact you you know that you're able not, well, let's see how much we could be able to get, and maybe we can kind of sneak the closing costs in at a later time and ask for it if it appraises. No, this is what we have. It makes the buyer comfortable. They know they have what they need. They know they can be able to work out, and now they can focus on getting everything that they for you to, in order to close the loan. Who can I give from? Who can I scramble this from? Who can I be able to get this? It just takes that pressure off. It just
right,
does. And
right.
and and I think what people don't realize is that, like how you said, the outside markets, this has been the experience. Colombia, we've been kind of spoiled with our market. And not only that, we have these
Yeah,
outside states and everyone coming into our market who are used to having 10, 5% down, paying closing
yeah,
costs, not having to ask for things. So that's what's bringing on this competition the way that it is. Because you tell that, you have, I mean, I've had people, they're coming from up north. Oh, no, we'll go ahead and put an extra $20,000. Okay.
yes, absolutely,
You sure?
absolutely,
Not a problem. This is what we have to
absolutely.
do where we're at. I'm like, oh, okay.
I,
We'll
I
get it
tell you, I tell you a quick story that of what happened to me. My first experience in the Charlotte market, my very first loan that I did in Charlotte couple of years ago, um, the appraisal came in $40,000 short of the sales price. And so, coming with my Columbia thinking, I was prepared to tell the customer, oh man, I'm sorry that it didn't work because it's $40,000 below value. And he says, Ron, he says, are you kidding me? I love this house. I'll just pay the difference. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you going to pay $40,000 difference?
Yeah.
And he says, absolutely. And it was no problem. And it just educated me to a whole new way of thinking about it and looking at how the competition level is now. And so again, my heart goes back to the people that aren't perhaps able to do it that way. So, in
Exactly.
order for us to be able to spread the love as far as we can, and to be able to look after buyers that they are hardworking, they got good jobs,
Mhm.
and they're doing everything that they can to become a homeowner, and it's almost like it's been unfair to those persons because
Yeah.
they can't compete with the big companies that are buying houses now, and people that just have a lot of cash. So we have tools available that can even the playing field, and that's what we've been doing, and that's why we've been winning offers.
Exactly. And utilizing those programs versus, and there's nothing wrong with using down payment assistance programs, but the good thing is to be able to utilize what you're able to do and not have to deal with a second mortgage, not have to deal with a second
Right,
on your home. It's something to where you literally, hey, this is what you're getting. Not,
right,
okay, you're going to get this, but you also now have another payment, or you now
right,
have attached to you for 10 or 20 years. And so
right.
that's what I really appreciate about that too. Um,
Absolutely.
Another thing that we've been doing, our other topic was how we're taking that pre-approval that we're getting it and turning it into cash offers. Just like how you were stating how you have these companies that are coming in buying properties, we also have partnership with companies that are able to take those pre-approvals, and because of your relationship with them, of them knowing that you're doing the verification, the background, as far as the checking of the financials and so forth, and all your due diligence, we're able to take those and actually be able to possibly put in a cash offer because those companies
Right.
will back those pre-approvals. And that's another way, going back to the original question, how do you compete when your dream home has multiple offers?
Mm,
That's how we're able to do those things. It's all types of things that we're able to work together in order to get the ultimate goal, which is to get you into your home.
that's it. When going back to that Charlotte market a little bit, there were partner companies that were there that were doing creative things to help buyers, just as you're talking about turning pre-approvals into cash offers. And by the way, I want to encourage anybody that's listening to us tonight that maybe you were thinking you were out of it. You're not, and I just urge you to reach out to us because we can help put the mechanics together. And one of the tools that we have is we have partnership and we have relationships. I mentioned earlier that this is partially a relationship opportunity as well. And one of our uh, hedge fund investors, one of them, when we were in the Charlotte market, they knew that we had operations in South Carolina, and they were not in South Carolina. And so they asked us to help facilitate bringing them into Columbia and bringing them into the South Carolina market. So we actually introduced them into the market um, uh, maybe a year plus ago now, I think it's been, and we've just I think it has put us a step ahead in terms of what we've been able to do, having that on board as part of our tools to help you navigate through this pandemic market. And we've utilized them on many occasions. And let me tell you one of the ways that I think it has really benefited. You and I know that one of the other things that listing agents look at is the type of loan a borrower is qualified for. So we know industry wise when it comes to government based loans, and when I say government based loans for our listening audience, I'm speaking of FHA loans, VA loans, or USDA loans. Those are all government based loans, and they have a criteria that's a little bit more stricter when it comes to home evaluations, when it comes to appraisals. And during this pandemic market, I know in the Charlotte market, they stopped looking at government-based loans. When you take government-based loans out of the lending equation, you eliminate an incredible amount of people that think about Columbia. We're home to Fort Jackson. We have the biggest military base in training base in the country here in our city. And because of that, we have lots of veterans. We have lots of uh, uh, persons that are either on Fort Jackson, maybe full time military personnel, or personnel that are military related or retired. And those are 100% loans, 100% in terms of no down payment or very little down payment. I don't never like to use the term no down payment because I believe it creates the wrong myth with people, because you must understand that when you purchase something, it's going to require something of you.
Payment.
So I don't believe in the terminology no down payment, because you're going to have some money. You whether it's for appraisal, home inspection, you're going to have some money. Now,
Mhm.
there are opportunities that we have in our lending arsenal to help reduce that cost, as we talked about others earlier. And VA loan is one of those things. And but because of that, because of the turn in the market, many sellers only wanted conventional loans, and it became non-existent that we were doing any FHA lending. In fact, many banks, Sheila, my partner, told me earlier today about a bank that she has a partnership with a friend there, that they only do conventional loans. They do no government lending. And it's a major bank right here in the city.
Well, it's a lot
And
of major banks that are doing that, and if you want it, they'll refer you
right,
to somebody
they
else.
refer you to someone else.
Refer you to
Absolutely.
another lender because
Right.
they understand that those are the ones to where they're not, unfortunately, are not getting the offers at that point of time. Especially at the beginning of this year and around summertime,
Right.
it's hard to get an offer.
Right.
Even still now. I mean, I remember when a friend of mine purchased down in Atlanta.
Hmm.
This had to be about over 5 years ago, and
Right.
they wouldn't accept her offer. She had FHA. They would not accept it due to the,
Wouldn't accept it.
it
Absolutely.
took her. And this is over 5 years ago.
Right.
When there was
Right.
houses galore, it was still no. We'll wait
Yeah.
because sellers knew, okay, if I waited, it's going to end up saving me money, or I don't know what I'm going to get in regards to this appraisal. But like how you say, in our market, this is kind of what our norm is.
Absolutely.
It's, and we even talk to clients in regards to, hey, if you could possibly be able to go up to conventional, let's try this to see if we can be able to get you to go up to conventional, because it's going to give you a lot more options and not have that person automatically, well, these are the FHAs, because sellers are doing their research.
They are.
Whether an agent
Absolutely.
tells them or not, sellers are going online and everything is online now, and they're looking to say, okay, what's the best offer to take? And you have
Yes.
cash, and then you have conventional.
Right. And and the thing about it is this, and this is where, kind of going back to where those relationships matter again. When we bought that partner on board with us, then we were able to do some, turn our pre-approvals into cash offers through our hedge fund partnership, and then be able to yet do that person that could only qualify FHA or could only qualify VA. and we were able to come and actually do those loans through the process in which we developed with them. So I want people to understand that it's all about what tools you have, what you have available, who you have working for you matters, because the more we are equipped to be able to have within our arsenal things that meet the customer where they are, the
Yeah.
more people will be able to help.
And understanding the market. And so, guys, don't be afraid to ask questions. This,
Yeah,
of course, we want you to go through and work with us. You see the experience, you see the knowledge, but also don't you don't have to, if you are already with an agent but you don't have a lender, you can be able to reach out to Ron. You could be able to talk to him in regards to say, hey, I saw what you were doing, I already have an agent. I need to see what programs you have available, see if you can assist me. And it's vice versa. If
right.
you have a lender and you already are getting some great programs
Absolutely.
with that lender, and you want to be able to talk to me in regards to me representing you on your sale, you can definitely be able to reach out. If you look at the bottom of the screen, we have both my contact information, or where you go to reach out to myself, which is at www.dealswithangie. And then you also have Ron's, which is also with his phone number down here as well, to go to as far as what applying with Silverton Mortgage. At the end of the day, it's all about understanding what's going on, having the tools to be able to get it done, and just having the patience, like you stated, having the
Yes,
patience to stick through, have the perseverance, because at the end of the day, this is one of the biggest investments that you're doing.
right.
You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Clearly, you can give more than 2 weeks towards it. Especially, it's going to change the whole the whole outlook for your family and yourself. Owning a home is still the ultimate dream here in America, and it is still obtainable. Everybody has their horror stories.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
Angelina, I want to add to that, another important fact. And I know that, we only have a few minutes remaining, but man, this has been absolutely fabulous. And but I want to add the other important factor to this, I think, that, for persons that maybe don't understand the full gamut of home ownership, is that it is also one of the biggest retirement tools that you can have. You know, uh, my grandfather, uh, when he passed, his home was paid for. He had literally, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, he paid off his home, and his home was able to do so much for him. Now we kind of have evolved to a different place. One of the quickest ways to build your retirement, to build equity, is in your home.
yeah,
It's in your home, and now it's important. One of the things that many people that actually was birthed up under Ronald Reagan, and y'all are a lot younger than me, so I see Sheila on the call. She's way younger than me, but
look, I won't tell my
and
age, but I was
Terrell,
around when he
yeah.
was.
but if you if you're one of the older dogs like me that remember the term Reaganomics, then up under Ronald Reagan, there was a historic move made, and it was called reverse mortgage. And I discovered many years ago that many people were utilizing their home as a as another stream of income through reverse mortgages. And I said, man, I need to introduce this, because we really need to know whether it's the reverse mortgage, or whether you decide that once you get to a particular place, and maybe you've had your first home, second home, you've raised your children, and now you're ready to sell your home and move into your retirement home. Man, I mean, home ownership helps you do that. And I've done loans with many people that were more educated about this than many people that I know that are educated about this. And one of the reasons why I love having these kind of conversations is we can help people to understand, you know, your 401k may not move as fast as your home will in terms of value. And so owning a home is not just your place where you're going to raise your family, but it's also building wealth for you as well. And that's important to know.
Exactly. We did a series, I want to say a couple of months ago, in regards to just building the legacy building series, and we need
Wow.
we got a lot of feedback from that, and we need to bring that on, do that again. And I'm going to be talking to you
Absolutely.
about that because a lot of information. I know I've learned so much just on my own personal from talking to you about how to make your home work for you, and those
Yes.
are the things that are not going to be on Zillow and
Yeah.
or
It's not
just
going to be there.
the status quo of letting everyone know of what you could be able to do to truly be able to build wealth and how you can be able to use it. And you can still do that in this market. And so,
Absolutely.
and that's what this is all about.
Even more so now,
Hmm.
because the values are escalating so very much. In fact, um, I think I shared with you maybe a week or two ago that the Bankers Association met 2 weeks ago, and uh, the two largest entities in terms of lending, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they are increasing their loan limit in 2022 to
Hmm.
625,000, and that's where it's at now. But insiders believe that it will even be higher than 625,000. So, what is the motivation? What is the driving point behind it? The driving point is that houses are increasing in value at an incredible rate.
Yeah,
And so that's why it's such an urgency for people that are not homeowners right now to really, this is your moment to get in, and don't let this moment escape without you at least trying, at
exactly.
least at least get the information. Angelina and I will do this on a constant basis. We'll try to do it monthly if we can, or however much as we can offer, because we want to help you be ready. We want to help get you ready. We want you to understand what it will takes and what it will take. But the main thing is we want to get you in it because it's
Exactly.
imperative to your life financially in so many other ways.
And also for those who are okay, I'm going to wait until the housing levels off. I'm going to wait till houses go down, or I don't want to be the highest paid in the neighborhood. I don't want this. I'm telling you guys now, at the end of the day, I'm from someone who's looking at houses on a daily basis because we do this full time. And I have clients who have put it off. They're coming back. They are coming to me and stating how it used to be they could be able to get this square footage of a house for the same price point, and now it's lower. It's the common the now the here in our market, the actual starter home is now in the 200s.
Yes.
You're looking for a home that's at least over 2,000 square feet, you need to go ahead and be prepared to pay over the 200s, in the mid 200s. And you would think that getting 300,000 in our market will have you at least be able to request what it is you're wanting. That's not the case anymore.
It's not
It's
the
literally
case.
now the same as getting a $200,000 house almost. So don't put it off. Don't wait until anything levels off. It may not ever level off. But what we do know is that these interest rates are going up,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's going to affect
So
what you can purchase. And it run. I know. I thank you so much for staying on, but I need you, if you can, at least touch on the
I
interest rates.
got to. Let me tell you, this is we've I think just before getting on the meeting tonight, um Sheila, I think she texted me and said, could I call me or text me, one of the two, asked me to check a rate for on a VA 30 year. And I was we were both just kind of blown away at how much of an inch it has taken. As the economy continues to get better, as we kind of fade, hopefully, out of COVID. Banks do a lot of projections. Banks evaluate markets, economy every single day. Make no mistake about it. I want people to understand this. banks are not thrilled about these low interest rates
Yeah.
because low interest rates means what? Less profit for them.
Hmm.
It's less profit. They would rather see rates escalate and they can add more profit to their books. Anybody want to make money that's in business to make you're in business to make money. But because the economy was stagnant because of COVID, rates came down to help stimulate the market. But as the market began to improve, as we as COVID fades, as I aforementioned, then we already seeing back to that mortgage bankers conference projections that rates are going 4 plus and could even go as high as 5% again. Now, that's scary probably for most of us because, especially if you've only been researching home ownership within the more recent years. When I started back in 96, rates were 16, 17%. And when we got someone 15%, we were all celebrating. We were shouting, "Hey, I got you 15%." But so everything has changed. But I can assure you that the projections are, and we're seeing it now, that rates are going up. So what happens when rates go up? I think you mentioned it earlier, Angelina, is that for many people, then it lowers what you're able to buy. Now,
Yeah.
I just heard you say that 300,000 is now getting us what 200,000 used to get us. And
Hmm.
that's you're the expert in that arena. And I can tell you this that, there are people that only qualify for 200,000 that maybe will qualify for less when rates go up. So, what type of position does that put you in by waiting? So, it says that if you want the best opportunity, then you need to get ahead of it and you need to start the process now before these rates escalate anymore. Literally, we received a correspondence from our servicing department a few days ago that rates are getting ready to escalate to the point to where a 1 day extension can cost a certain amount of money. And literally, that could be the difference between that deal surviving and that deal going away. So I urge people that if you've been thinking about it, then you need to act on those thoughts now and see where you are. Hopefully, we will be able to get through 2021 where we are, but it's certain that in 2022 there's going to be escalation on rates even
And
more.
this is not just for buyers. This is also for sellers because
Both
sellers,
for
even if
selling,
you're planning on, let's say you're like, hey, well, I just want to sell my home and I'm going to
right?
retire across seas and I don't need a home. You still need people to afford to be able to buy your home.
That's
When
it.
those interest rates go up, that's also taking a huge market of your buyers away. Which then,
Absolutely,
what happens if you don't have qualified buyers? What does that do? It drags your price point down. You have to keep taking your price point down until you do get one or sit on it. Either
absolutely,
way, that's still expenses that you're going to be accruing. And so, if you are a seller and you also are thinking about this, now's the time to also get on the market too to sell your home because it's not just going to affect buyers; it's going to affect
right,
you as well. And if you're a
absolutely,
seller that's been wanting like a lot of sellers now, some of people are selling their home and they're building their dream home. Ron could be able to assist with that too. So you
right,
need to go ahead. I guess what we're saying is when it's coming with money and the time, it doesn't stop. Unfortunately, when you're talking about the financial industry, the market, these things don't stop for anybody. They just don't. So if it's something that you've been thinking about, especially if you know that you're going to be doing this within the next 5 years, you need to go ahead and do this now.
right,
You just do for the reasons that we've listed: retirement, financials, finding a home for your family. Don't put it off anymore. I spoke to a client earlier today and I was so proud of her. And I told her this because she actually, instead of hiring a credit consultant, worked on it herself. And
Right.
honestly, Ron, she'll be calling you later on today. Actually, excuse me, applying later on today. But I told her I was so proud of her that she didn't use the excuse, well, my credit is bad. She says, okay, I need to do something. I know I'm ready to get a home. Let me do what I can be able to do. See it, the CIA, the credit part.
That's it.
She
That's
did
it.
the credit part
That's
and
it.
worked on it and got it. And I told her, I was like, I'm proud of you. Let's get it done. Let's get it taken care of.
Absolutely. And Angelina, maybe in our next session we can actually walk through that CIA piece a little bit because for many people, um, uh, the lifestyle has changed now. One of the things that economically we hear about is what's called the gig economy. And the gig economy has to do with the way people are working in this present day. Many people are opening businesses up, people are not
Mhm.
filling many of the job vacancies. I get calls literally every day. Hey, do you know anybody want a job over here? Or we got positions over there, or whatever case may be. How does that affect our buyers? How does that affect you in home ownership? Well, you need to know that, and I want to urge them to come back with us next month or whenever we come back and we address that because we're getting ready to leave out of 2021 and
Yes.
tax filing season will be upon us,
Hmm.
and the way you file your taxes and what you file determines what you'll be able to qualify for if you're self-employed. So we really want to help you. We want to urge you to make a move now. Or reach out to either one of us. Calling either one of us is like calling either one of us because
Yeah.
I can get you to her and she can get you to me. Either way it goes. But the big thing is, uh, don't hesitate. Don't wait any longer. Let's make it happen for you.
And you know what, Ron? I think that's something that we definitely need to go ahead and do before tax season. Let's just go ahead and just
Yeah,
say this is what we're going to do. We have a great audience on the line. That way we can say,
absolutely.
hey, next week, excuse me, next month, and we'll start with advertising it to let you all know about this because we do need to let people know because people think
Yes,
because, well, I made six figures, they should be counting six figures and they have no
right.
clue that yeah, you might have made six figures, but it's all about at that bottom line of what you're claiming and what's actually showing, and can change. Um, that can change a lot in regards to the amount of home. You know, when you talk
Yes,
about cutting your income in half. I mean, I just told you for every $5 equates out to 1,000. I mean, that's the difference between you getting a $500,000 house to a $250,000 house. So it's just that's something that we really have to make sure that we make people aware of it. So I
I
say,
think so. I agree with you 100% because, like I said, it's a whole new market now that we've seen emerge from the pandemic, and all of these things that we're talking about are pandemic related because this new gig economy was basically created in the pandemic, where we see record number of people quitting their jobs and leaving their position and opening their own businesses, and at some point housing is going to be a central issue for them, and we want to show you how to prepare, how to get ready, and the time again is right now. Most of the time, when we look at somebody, whatever history they've created, it's already a matter of record. But what can happen if we can help you set the record in order? If we can meet with you now, if we can talk with you now, if
exactly.
we can process you now, then we help you create the right record that can get you to the goals that you want to achieve.
Exactly. And for those of you all who want to, like I say, find out more about this, talk to us, have a consultation. I've been having it to where our contact information has been at the bottom of the screen here. For Ron, you can give him a call at 803-888-2999. I need that easy number.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like George Sink, getting it George Sink all
I
nines.
know all nines. And
Yeah,
then also his
I'm like Sink.
his um uh his link to actually apply is actually on here too, which is silvertonmortgage.com/Ron Williams. And then
Yes.
also, as always, to book a consultation with myself, you go to www.dealswithangie.net. Just go ahead and just book your consultation. And like you said, if you contact one of us, you contact myself or him, it's the same as contacting us both. I thank you so much for Ron for your time today. This has been so enlightening. I am so
Oh
glad
man, this has been
we're finally able to
incredible.
do this. For everyone that's been here, we appreciate you all. Sticking on. Hopefully, I've told people, tell others about it. This will be
Yeah.
replayed on our Facebook pages as well as on my YouTube page, because this is the stuff that needs to be, that we need to know about.
Yeah.
And for the people, if you know someone who's been talking about getting a home, that's been kind of frustrated with the whole market, tell them
Share
to give us
this.
a call. It's all
Yeah.
about having that game plan. And my thing is, if you start today, you'll be one day closer. So why
That's
not
it.
start today?
That's it. Angelina, tell us about, before we go, also your podcast, because
Oh
I
yes,
was able to listen to a piece of
you
it
did.
today, man. It was, and I'm a podcast lover, by the way. So that is incredible, and I urge people to chime into that and contact you about that as well, because it's more than just about home ownership. It's about much more greater than that, and that's what we want our experience to be. We're about life. That's what we're about. We're about life, and life more abundantly. That's what it's
Yes.
all about for us.
Well, thank you so much. My podcast actually, guys, is Me and My Thoughts podcast. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, and it's also on Google Play too. I started it actually over a year ago, and I have just been putting it back and forth, getting some more titles on. We have episodes that are there, and it's all inspirational and motivational. I have clients, they'll listen to it at the beginning of their days. I send it to Ron. That means a lot that you liked it and enjoyed it.
I did.
They're nice little snippets. They're not too long, probably less than 10 minutes, but just something to be able just to things that come to me, because like I say, this is more than just, I feel like you said, what we do and what we're doing to help people. We truly want people to have their best lives, and home ownership is a part of that. And these are the things that we also do on our outside of our homes, and selling homes, is that we also still encourage, like you say, living life abundantly. And
That's it.
and just knowing that, hey, there's more out there. If you've been wanting more, if you've been wanting to do things, this is the time, and it's possible. It's possible.
Absolutely. I look forward to our next session. I encourage all of our persons that are on with us tonight to share it with someone else. That's how you can be a blessing. If you want to be a blessing,
Yes.
you're a blessing to someone else, then you don't do nothing but attract great things to your life. So share it with other people, and we look forward to our next session together.
Yes, and thank you to everyone who's been chatting. We see it.
Yes,
We really appreciate your input. And when we're doing these chats, please, guys, put your questions in there. Um,
yes,
I'm seeing them on my side. We were able to see Jesse's when they want to have their questions. We're going to start doing these and getting this taken care of. Thank you all so much, Sheila, Sherelle, Katharina, Jacqueline, Denise. We greatly appreciate all of you guys sticking on here with us. All right.
yes.
Especially thank you as well, Shanice. Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate not just your expertise, but your guidance and your mentoring and your encouraging. It's done wonders for me as a person, as a business owner, as a mother, and I greatly appreciate our friendship, and not only that, our business relationship as well. Thank you.
Absolutely, and very same back to you, Angelina, and also I want to shout out your husband, brother Carlos. Man, he's the hidden partner in this operation
Yes.
as well, and man, he is incredible in what he does and what you guys bring to the table, and I just look forward to doing much more with you together and helping multitudes of others.
Yes, well, that's what it's all about. And I thank you too, baby, for how you helped me out so much.
Maybe we can convince him one day to get in front of the camera. I don't know if that's
If
possible.
you could get him in front of the camera, then you truly are the man. Because I've been trying to do that for the last 11 years, and it still
Yeah,
hasn't worked yet.
yeah. Well, we'll see. I
All
think
right,
he's beginning to come out a little bit more.
he's gonna break out of his shell.
That's exactly right. We'll get him out. Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Good
All
night,
right.
everyone. Y'all have a blessed one. As always, when you're thinking about deals with Angie, you have Ron also with Silverton. Have a blessed evening.
All
Thank
right.
you.